Hello and welcome to episode 200 of the Podiatry Business Podcast. Today's podcast is titled Why You Can't Recruit Clinical Staff in Your Podiatry Clinic. So today's episode is for the clinic owner who's probably there and thinking, look, I've tried everything and I still can't get podiatrists, clinical staff, health practitioners, whatever, to come and work for me. You probably put out the ad, you've either got maybe no applicants or you've got the wrong type of applicants. Or maybe what's happened is you're getting people who look good on paper, but they either don't show up or they don't fit, or maybe they start and they don't last. I've had all of this happen to me. Now, the uncomfortable truth is that, yes, there is a lack of clinical staff available out there. There isn't a huge volume of podiatrists available to recruit the same way there would be, say, a larger volume of say, physios. However, most clinics don't really have a recruitment problem. What they have is they have an offer problem. Now, what I don't mean is a salary only problem, okay? So a salary offer. What I mean is the full package of what it feels like to come and work in your clinic. So what I'm going to do in this episode is I'm going to walk you through the real reasons that most clinics that I speak to can't recruit clinicians and the things that they should probably look at fixing so that you get good people who actually want to come and join you and your clinic. Now, I'm not suggesting at any stage that I have a magic wand and that I can pull people that don't exist out of my back pocket, or you can do the same, but you can certainly make things easier for yourself because all clinics are trying to recruit from the same pool. So you've got to make sure you get this done correctly. So let's start with reality. So the reality is that your clinical staff out there, people you're hoping to get, they have options, and that's okay. They have plenty of places that they could go, and they're not really just choosing a job. What they're choosing is they're choosing a work environment, maybe a schedule, maybe a level of stress. They're choosing what kind of boss they want to work with. They don't want to work with an asshole. Why would they? They're choosing a team culture. And they're choosing whether they're really going to be supported or they're going to be thrown in the deep end. And what happens is a lot of clinics will play lip service to all of this. And because they play lip service to it, they're not able to actually get people. So you've got to think about what it is that your person is looking for. So if your recruitment strategy is basically put out an ad and pray and you keep getting the same results, well, these are probably the reasons why. I'm going to talk about a few reasons that I see typically. So I spoke to a clinic owner that I'm working with recently, and the clinic owner was complaining that the staff don't seem to be engaged or concerned with what the business is doing and how, I suppose what he meant was profitable it was, etc. And I explained to him that this is a completely unrealistic expectation from your staff. That's not their job. They're not there to worry about how much money's left over, what profit you as the owner is making. In their head, they always think that all the money coming in is going to the boss. Now, you and I know as clinic owners that it's absolutely not the case. It's the total opposite, and many clinics are not making less than their staff. In this case, he was making less. But if you think that they're going to care about you and your business the same way you are making mistakes. So what you need to think about is that how are we going to do this? And the first mistake I see is that the ad is written for you, the clinic owner, not for them. So it's like a shopping list. Must be motivated, must be a team player, must be this registered, etc., etc. Must have X years experience, great opportunity. And what's happening is clinicians are scanning this. They're scanning the jobs and they're looking at it going, will this make my life better? And if it doesn't, they're going to move on. So a better way to write the ad is to question what is your ideal candidate. What is that person looking for? Work out what they want, not what you want, in a job, and design your offer around that. Because if your ad is vague, what's going to happen is you're going to attract the wrong type of person. You'll either get the wrong type of person desperate applicants who will take almost anything, or no one at all. So what you need to make sure is that you write the ad in a way that is attractive to them. What is it that they want? And that's what your job should be about. Second reason is that the clinic will feel chaotic from the outside. So you can see that with a lot of clinics. You don't even have to work in the clinic or be in the clinic when you meet the owner. When you look at what's happening, you look at their website, maybe it's not been done well for a long time, it's haphazard, they haven't updated their Facebook, whatever. And good clinicians are going to avoid chaos. They're not going to get involved in taking a job somewhere that is chaotic, because chaos causes leaks. So even before they join, what happens is they can start to sense it. They can sense it through maybe slow replies in their application, maybe you're disorganized in your interview, maybe you're unclear in the expectations that you have for that staff member other than come and work for me. If your clinic is kind of working on last minute fixes, or it's a clinic that is almost having to firefight constantly, then you're going to see that you're going to struggle to recruit. Because what you're doing is subconsciously you're broadcasting to potential staff that this is a stressful workplace. This person is stressed. Imagine what it's like working for them all day, every day. The third reason is that you're not selling a career path. Now, when I say selling a career path, I don't mean that you have to sell them the opportunity to buy in or become a joint owner or shareholder in your business, because the reality is most clinicians, most podiatrists don't actually want to run their own business. But top clinicians don't really want a job. They want a path that means that they're not selling, they're not trying to buy into a partnership or so on, but that they're trying to buy into something that's going to give them a path that will improve them and give them a continued fulfillment in what they do. If your only pitch is going to be come in, see some patients, go home and I'll pay you, well then you're just competing with everyone else. So what you have to do is you have to articulate what makes you different. What makes your job, your clinic, different and allows people to feel fulfilled and allows them to progress in their career, which doesn't necessarily mean, again, that everybody has to be the senior podiatrist in your clinic, because that's not possible. So do you have a real mentorship program? And what I see a lot of people do is they say, we do mentorship, but when it comes to do nothing. The clinic owner I spoke to this week had a something like that, a mentorship kind of a system or structure, and it was essentially just a 20-minute meeting once a month. That's non-mentorship. So you've got to actually live it. What special interest can you help them to build? Maybe they're interested in doing X, Y, or Z, and is that possible in your clinic? Are you going to do so? Are you going to support their CPD? Is there going to be a budget for you to do that? Is there protected time for learning? And is there a progression in earnings? And is there a progression in responsibility if that's something that they want? Now, even if you're a small clinic and you don't have a huge team, that's cool. You can still create a path that people can be this. It just needs to be intentional. It just needs to be something that you talk about that's not so vague in your offer, in your job, that they don't see what you're talking about. Fourth reason I see is that your pay is unclear or unattractive. And this is often where clinic owners get stuck. So what they do is they have one of three ways. Okay. So the first way is that they have a non-competitive wage. They try to pay as little as they possibly can, because they're not in control of the finances, if I'm honest. And because they're not in control of the finances and they're not actually making that much money or not that profitable, they're trying to make sure that they don't run out of money. So their wage is non-competitive as a result. They will have on paper, attractive wage, but the wage might have too many ifs. So you nearly need to kill yourself to get to that wage. A suite of clinics or a business that has a number of clinics does this. So they have, that I know of, obviously won't mention, but they have a number that's here, your wage, and you could potentially earn this. But it's all about what you have to squeeze out of the patient. So if you squeeze this out of the patient, you sell these orthotics, if you get this, I'll give you X. And to me, in my clinic, I feel that is a crap culture, and it's not one that I want to have. Because what you're going to do is you're going to lose candidates before you even meet them, because they can see that this is one where they're basically going to have to nearly slog and kill themselves, and almost be unethical in the advice and the treatments that they give to be able to get that money. Also, if your job is one where it's all about money, you're going to attract the wrong people. Instead, you don't necessarily have to be the highest payer in the market. And I do see clinic owners out there who are just throwing money at this problem, thinking that that's going to solve it. But instead, what they do is they attract people who are only interested in money, and they're not interested in the patients as much. They're not interested in the culture, and you end up with a revolving door of staff. Instead, I feel, give a fair wage, give what the market is giving at the moment, but you need to do so clearly. You need to be fair, and you need to have a culture that reflects this. The fifth reason I think people are having problems is that the interview process is too slow, it's not done well. And in a tight market, which is what we have, speed really matters. So if it takes you 2 weeks maybe to reply, if it takes you 3 or 4 rounds of interviews to make a decision, maybe another week to spend the offer and so on, they're gone. Someone else is going to have taken them. What you want is a simple process that wins. You want to have a quick phone call, maybe a quick in-person interview and a tour. Okay, maybe what you're going to do is you're going to, if you think it's appropriate, get them in for a day or two to have a trial and so on, and you want to be able to make that offer within 24 or 48 hours. For me, all I want to do is quick chat on the phone, see if we feel we're a good fit for each other. If we are, I'll meet for coffee. I don't really look at the CV too much because I feel that that's not really a true reflection, so I want to meet them and see what they're like. I show them my vision for what I'm trying to do with the clinic, and what we potentially would do for them when they're coming to work, and where we see them fitting in it. If it doesn't work for them, if that vision's not what suits them, there's no point in them starting with us. And then once we've made a decision and they've made a decision and we negotiate on that, then it's all done within hours. Okay, so these are the reasons that people are having problems at getting clinical staff. So let's talk about the fix. So I have a 4-part system, a clinician attraction system. That's quite straightforward, really. So where you need to focus on is, number 1, a compelling offer. So a compelling role offer needs to be clear on the pay, on the schedule, on the expectations, on the support, and it needs to be designed in a way that will attract your ideal person. So if the offer is designed to, if your ideal person is wants X and your offer offers Y, then you're only going to get people who are interested in Y rather than people who are looking. So it's got to be a compelling offer. Think about what they want and make your offer match that. Second thing then is you need to have a job ad that sells this, that sells that outcome, because you're at this point, you're now doing marketing and it's persuading people to put their hand up and get involved. So what's it going to look like? What's their outcome going to be for them if they take this job? What support do they get, etc., etc. It shouldn't be about what you want. It should be about what you're going to do for them, as much as, look, we obviously need you to do this X, Y, Z. You want to, third step is you want to have a fast and professional hiring process. Look like you know what you're doing, have speed, be clear in what you want, be confident in what you want. Now, don't be cocky, okay? Be respectful of people, but be fair on it, okay? And don't leave people hanging. And then the fourth thing, which isn't just about hiring, but it is about retention, but it is a huge part of the hiring process, and it is something that I will really instill in people when I'm speaking to them, and I teach my clients to do the same, and that is that you have a clinic that has a great culture. This is the most important thing, because if you don't have a great culture, people will very quickly realize that this is what's happening, and you're not going to be able to retain people. You're going to attract the wrong type of people, and that's not what you need. So how you can do that as part of your recruitment process is you can show them the business, you can show them the culture before they say yes to that job. So if you find that you can't recruit clinical staff, podiatrists mainly, don't assume that no one wants to work anymore or there are no podiatrists out there for me. Assume instead that your clinic offer isn't clearly better than the alternatives out there. And if it looks like everyone else's, okay, then you've got to do something about it. Fix the offer. Make it match the ideal person you want. fix your messaging, your marketing for that. Okay, you have a proper messaging system. Tighten the process of once you get somebody into that, and you'll start to attract better people. And what you need to make sure you're doing is that you almost have an always on recruitment system, that you're not just turning it on and off whenever you need someone, because recruitment is the most important thing that you do in a services business, which is what you have. So you need to be focusing on it on all the time. So this is what we do here in More Practice Profits. I coach my clinic owners how to do this, how to install stuff like this, and how to get better at attracting the right type of people into their staff. And it works. So if you want help with this, then you want to talk to us here at More Practice Profits about joining our coaching program and having us help you with issues like this, then simply go to morepracticeprofits.com, and you've got two options. One, you could go and speak to Virtual Lorcan, and Virtual Lorcan will have a conversation and will give you a plan. And at the end of that, it will explain to you what would be involved if you want me, Real Lorcan, to help you implement that plan, or you can take that plan away. Alternatively, you can simply go and book a triage call, which is just a 10-minute phone call with myself. I'll give you a quick call, we'll have a chat, and we'll see if we think we can help each other. If I feel we're a good fit, we'll talk about next steps, and we go from there. It's not a sales call, that's not what we do. So until next time, and episode 200, which for me is a big milestone, this is Lorcan from More Practice Profits, signing out.